Hey everybody, Bonehead from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Blood Bowl Formations Norse Setups. So we're looking at every team available in Blood Bowl 2020, whether it's Rulebook, PDF, Teams of Legend, or the expanded NAF teams, and we're looking at just how to set up your pieces on the board. So whether you're kicking or receiving, we're going to look at some example formations and basically talk through where and why you want to put certain positionals. So if you're planning on picking up Norse and running them soon, or you're expecting to be playing against them, this should give you some ideas of where people are going and why. Now, the Norse team is potentially one of the most, intrinsically loyal team bases out there. And the reason for that is because the Norse teams, it's tough to come across a cheapish third-party one. Okay, you're either going to go expensive and get a great one, or you're going to kind of go on the low route and build your own. So Norse tends to be very beloved. It's a very powerful roster, but the lack of a team means that it's not the most played roster. If this one landed as it is today with Games Workshop, I think we'd find it become one of the most popular tabletop teams out there. But at the moment, it's kind of niche. You kind of have to find your own Norse route to the tabletop. And that means that it's a really loyal thing. Now, you will know this if you've seen the channel for a while, that when it comes to Norse, I think they might have one or two positionals too many. And we're going to go through that in the setups because we're going to leave some of them out because they're not entirely necessary, or they kind of are duplicitous. So we're going to have a look now at Norse setups. So when it comes to Norse, you have a ton of block. This is the team's thing, okay? Everybody but 3 players has block. And those 3 players, they don't need it. Okay, we've got 2 Ulfwereners here. These guys are movement 6, strength 4, frenzy, okay? They are fantastic. They will punch a hole that way if you want one, and if your opponent comes this way, they're going to punch a hole through that opponent. It's fantastic, okay? They make great safeties and really good, like fullbacks. Like, they just run through and create holes. Then you've got the Yeti, which is just one of the best big guys out there. There, I said it. Strength 5, frenzy, it's just an absolute house of a player. So when it comes to setting up and deploying Norse, those are kind of your key pieces. You may not be able to run all of them, you may not be able to afford all of them, one of them may be out. That's okay. There's kind of a multiple redundancy there, where if you don't have a Yeti but you've got 2 Ulfs, you're going to be okay. If you're missing an Ulf and you've got a Yeti, you're going to be okay. The second positional that kind of ties in with the Ulf is the Berserker, okay? So that is a strength 3 block frenzy piece. So there's a ton of frenzy here. So this is strength 3 block frenzy, this is strength 4 no block frenzy, this is strength 5 nothing frenzy. Okay, this is Negatrait wild animal territory. So, sorry, what is it? Animal savagery now? Animal savagery, I think. Or the other one. Doesn't really matter. The point is that when it comes to this team, you've got block here, 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 block here. Okay, and we haven't put catchers and throwers on this diagram here. If you've got catchers, they are going to have block. If you've got throwers, they are also going to have block. So when you set up on defense, somebody's going to get punched. So we've gone with the Chevron first. Now the Chevron comes in brilliantly if you're playing against a faster team, a team that is likely to want to try and break through your lines, or there's 2 or 3 turns to go and your opponent needs to score. This Chevron defense is going to give you brilliant coverage and excellent rebound. Okay, your counter attack here is going to be fantastic. If you look at the way it's deployed, the only way is to go down the middle, otherwise you've got tackle zones absolutely flipping everywhere. To go down the middle, they're going to have to clear out 2 linemen and a Yeti. Now, if this team is looking to break through, they're not likely to be much stronger than you, okay? You're not playing against ogres here. They're not going to go for a massive breakthrough. This is a team you're playing against elves, Skaven, dark elves, teams that are likely to want to break through, create a screen, and then score on turn 2. Chevron's going to do a beautiful job here. This front line is going to hold. It is going to hold. If it doesn't hold, it's going to take about 6 or 7 players to clear it out, and that means that there's 6 or 7 players less to break through and pick up the ball. They can do it, okay, but if they're going to do that, then they're going to do that. So when it comes to defending the edges, you've got a really tough choice to make, and this will come down to the specific team you're playing against and what's on their roster. So I have deployed in this example setup 4 linemen across the front, and it's the Chevron, so you've got these guys at a slight angle as well, and what that does is it creates this brilliant kind of extra coverage of tackle zones. There is nowhere to get through without clearing the Yeti out and running down the middle, which is going to be bad because you've got a couple of cheeky Ulfwereners there who are going to get 2 dice blocks with frenzy. they are going to 4 dice you. If the opponent breaks through here with a ball carrier, an Ulfwarrener is going to eat him. Alright, it doesn't even matter. 4 dice, even if you have to take both down, you have stopped their drive through. That is fantastic. Now, Berserkers on the edge make sense if they've got block. Okay, you've got block on your Berserkers, so it means that you're going to have a strength, you're going to have a skill advantage. If your opponent can only break through with strength 3 pieces, then it might be worth swapping the Ulf for the Blitzer here, okay? Because then you can have strength 4 here and strength 3 here. Now these guys still got frenzy, and they've got block. So in a strength 3 versus strength 3 matchup, Skaven, okay, Dark Elf, stuff like that, your opponent can drop a dude here to mark, drop a dude here to mark, and blitz in here and blitz that guy out, which will create an opening down the edge. That would be strength 3 on the blitz, strength 4 with an assist. If you're up against Skaven who are looking to break through heavy, swap the Ulf in for the Berserker. What you'll have to watch out for though is if you've got the Berserker on the inline, it will need a support to get a 2-die frenzy block, and you'll have to be careful with the frenzy. The Ulf is fantastic. It's just like a mini cruise missile. It's not quite the Minotaur, but it's pretty close. You just go, I would like that player gone now, please, and it runs over and rolls multiple hands full of block dice. And then some injury dice too. So the Ulf gives you great safety on both sides with strength 4 frenzy. If you swap them round, your opponent's going to have tougher time hitting the edges because of that strength 4, but you are going to need to bring another player up to get that 4-die frenzy block against whatever kind of screen they build here. So that's your choice. That depends on what you're running against, okay? If they've got Chaos, then they're going to get a Beastman team. Now, Chaos aren't likely to break through, but turn 6 or 7 of the second half and they need to win, then putting the Ulf on this side, it won't matter, okay? Because that Beastman is going to come in here with 1 assist there, 1 assist there. He's going to blitz at strength 4 and clear out your Ulfwarrener on 2 dice, and you don't have block, and you don't have a strength 4 versus 3 on the back. So when you look at Norse, you've got 4 blitzers. They're just slightly different. This guy is +1 strength, no skill. This guy's -1 strength, plus skill. And that is going to be down to you to decide which angle you want to take. Ultimately, those Ulfwarreners are going to get block, and at which point, you're having a great time anyway. And then there's the Anchor. So the Anchor is going to be useful if you're up against a Chaos Pact team, a Troll team, an Ogre team, a team where there is a bunch of big guys, a bunch of block, yes, Dwarves, Chaos Dwarves that fit in that category as well, and they are going to it's not the block, sorry, it's the guard that's going to give them the edge because you've got block. But what you're doing here is you're saying, here's my 3 linemen. I know that they're armor 8+, but they've got block, so you're going to have to work. And they're going to deploy 5 guys here, and they are going to sweep your line. But then they've got some tough choices. You've got a Yeti sitting right slap bang there. You've got 2 block linemen on the edges here. Now, the reason they're there is because your opponent can try and push your line. That's fine, they're going to go for that. Then they're going to take a blitz, and that blitz is going to come at one of the edge pieces here. That lineman is there to protect your blitzer, to protect your Ulfwarreners, okay? And then, when they're done trying to block your blockers, look at this counter-offensive here. So they say they wipe out the line, doesn't matter. You've got a great blitz with the Yeti. If they follow up too close, you've got a great counter-attack with the Yeti. You've got 2 movement 6 Ulfwarreners who can go wherever the heck that you like. You've got these Berserkers as well. You've got some linemen. Basically, if they take out this edge and follow up, this guy stands back up. You've probably got 4-die block here with the Berserker for free. You've got the Yeti who can go on a jolly little blitz to counter-attack. But the thing is, you're playing Anchor, and that's okay, because this cedes this area to your opponent and allows them to deploy deeper back. So undead, dwarves, those teams that are going to be slow in the backfield, that's okay. You let them take the first strike, and at best they take out or stun 4 of your linemen. You still can then go to work with the Yeti, with the 2 Ulfs, with your Berserkers, okay? You've got an absolute toolkit here where you can start counter-attacking, and because you've got all that strength and frenzy, all of your blocks basically are twice as effective. So they can open up with 3 blocks and a frenzy, 3 blocks and a blitz, that's fine. You're going to strike back, okay, with some really strong hitting. You've got some claws, you've got some Ulfs, you've got some great work here. So the whole point of Anchor is to seed this line and then try and win this combat here, because your guys are going to stand back up. They're going to have 4 or 5 players in their back midfield, all right? Then it's going to be your 11 against their 6. And if they are going to start getting passed around inside some frenzy cages with some of your strength 4 players with your Yeti, they are going to start losing that attrition battle. And quite frankly, if they're stronger than you, they're going to be slower than you. So let them wander up the pitch towards you while you take away what is there, right? You win this area, when they come down, they're playing 7s. You are not. And then on offense, you've actually got a ton of good stuff here. So you're not the fastest, you don't have sure hands, you don't have Edge 2+. Doesn't even matter. What we're going to look at here is the 5-5-1. It's not actually the 5-5-1, it's the 5-4-1-1. I've done that wrong. 5-4-1-1. Okay, and the reason we call it the 5-4-1-1 is because you've got 5 guys on your line of scrimmage. You are going to win that line of scrimmage. Okay, if your opponent goes heavy, you're playing Black Orcs and they're not entirely sure what they're doing, they may deploy a full 7 stack on your defense. That's fine. You're still going to be able to outstrength them, which is pretty tasty. Realistically, though, they're going to go, ooh, I'm playing Norse. I need to have a staggered defense. They're going to do exactly what you just did. Give you 3 soft targets and then deploy their main strength behind. That is fine for you because these 5 guys are going to win your line of scrimmage. Ball ends up here, you want to turn that line that way. Ball ends up here, you want to turn it that way. And you've got some stuff to do it with. Okay, you've got a Yeti. So the Yeti can strike straight up the middle. It is going to frenzy, but what it will do is it will clear out this piece here. Or, and this is the thing I love about this, you've got Ulfs to the edges, you've got Yeti in the middle. What do they all have in common? Good strength and frenzy. So you can start rolling one way or another using those frenzy blocks. But ultimately, you can stack it so you've got a good 2 die here, potentially without even using the Ulf Warrior. Or you can just farm that way and then block a cheeky dude that way, farm some more across. What you want to do is capitalize on your frenzy here. Alright, you've got 5 guys, they've got 3. You can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks against those 3 guys if you really need to using frenzy. Realistically, what's going to happen is you're going to clear out a dude with the Yeti and the linemen are going to have a wonderful time because they've got block. Now, block with 2 dice is better than frenzy block 2 dice no block, okay? So you've got that to counterbalance. But if they are a higher strength team, you swap your Ulfs in for the line, you get your 4+1. So this is Black Orcs and they put 3 Black Orcs on the line. If this is Nurgle and they go Beast and 2 dudes on the line, you should be able to whack away the edge pieces with the Ulfs or just assisted linemen and then go big with the Yeti. And that's the other wonderful thing about this situation here is, say this is a strength 3 lineup, the Ulf is merry just to take a 4-die frenzy block, take a 4-die frenzy block, and then you got Yeti +2 is a cheeky 3-die block with frenzy. 6 block dice coming at your opponent after they've cleared out is going to delete those 3 players, and that's the goal here. Delete those 3 players here and maintain this screen. So we've got berserkers and catchers on the edge. Catchers are fantastic. I haven't talked about them yet because actually a lot of the time they fulfill the role of a lineman. They've got block, that's their job. They're great at retrieving and receiving, okay? They're catchers. But the fact is they've got block and they've got dauntless, so they do become kind of semi-blitzers. They're great runners. They should be called runners. They once upon a time were called runners. Anyway, you got the berserkers and the catcher on the edge. They can be linemen if you want, it doesn't even matter. But those berserkers and this catcher are going to give you 2 options. Ball lands here. These guys can screen and work in concert with your linemen. If you've got a thrower, this is the place for the thrower, okay? The only advantage of the thrower is that it can get leader in the future to save you some money on a reroll, and also it does have a slightly better passing rating, so if you're going to pass around you can do that, but most of the time it's just going to be a blocking lineman. So ball ends up here, you can move the lineman up to shield, you can move the other catcher down to shield, you can bring that dude up here, and you've got a blitzer running free, or the blitzer comes down, it doesn't even matter, okay? You've got a 4-man collection team on either side of the ball. Now you're going to have this fun here and delete your opponents, then you've got a potential counter strike. You are probably going to be able to bring up a dude to support, and then you've got a berserker blitz here. You've got to catch it if you really need to chuck on that additional assist. Even if they've got a strength 4 piece here, you clear out this guy. Ulf comes over to a support, berserker comes over to support, catcher over there. If your berserker or your Ulf were at a blitz, they're going to be throwing 4 dice with frenzy, okay? If you can blitz with +2 strength, the berserker is the right way to go because of block. If you can't blitz with +2 strength, then the Ulf Warrior is the best way to go, and you can use the lineman here with a cheeky support to clear him off and use him as a kind of like a tight end. You can then go on a rampage when blitz this way with him, blitz this way with him, and the catcher can move up to support. Then you've got a great little scoring element here because let me tell you, trying to stop an Ulf Warrior, a berserker, and a catcher on any one flank is going to be very difficult for your opponent. They can base you, but all they're going to be doing is giving you extra frenzy blocks on your next turn. Again, that is a great thing for you. So 5-5-1, it's really simple. 5-5-1, 5-4-1-1 comes up really frequently, but that's because you're going to win the line of scrimmage, and you've got 2 different packages there to either strike or secure, and that's going to work beautifully with the Norse team. Now, Norse have a ton of combat ability. They've got a ton of strength, but they don't have a ton of armor. But you can cage with them pretty effectively. Whenever your opponent bases you, you are likely to be able to swing a 2-die block with block. Okay, that's basically everybody on your team except for the Ulf Warriors, and they're just going to have strength 4 frenzy instead. I don't know which one I would prefer if I was playing against them, so you know, it's an interesting one. Now the 7-4 is a slight variation. You go heavier on the line, and the whole point here is you just try and farm as many blocks as possible. You're expecting the ball to fall somewhere here, and what it does at that point is immediately gives you a cage. Okay, ideally the ball lands somewhere here, you can protect, and then you can collect and bring it up. And the idea is you want to end your ball carry around here, surrounded by Norse players. This is going to help you run out that clock. If you are receiving, you know, you just want to run out the clock as much as possible and take out a few of their players, secure the heck out of that ball, and then you can just start brawling with all those extra strength and extra block dice you've got. It's going to work out great for you. Now, the clever thing here is if you've got the Yeti and the Ulfs, you can frenzy surf. Okay, it's not quite surf, but you've got cheeky bits of frenzy on the edges here. You've got all of your frenzy pieces. You can just channel them down the line and block multiple times. Ulf Warrior punches this dude, he ends up there. If he doesn't push him down, he punches him there. Okay, then you got an Ulf here, and then you got a Lineman who can block him, and then you got a Berserker who can just go on for a merry little frenzy run. And then you do the same thing with this guy, and then the same thing with the Yeti. And then if you really want to finish something off, you've got the Berserker to come around here. So that's 7-4 is counterintuitive in that you want to end up here, surrounded by strength with the ball. But realistically, it's just a frenzy conga line of death. Alright, Yeti, Ulfs, Berserkers, pass those players around, just maximize your die rolls because it's free. Why not? Ball ends up here, you don't even need to do anything. All you need to do is murder these guys and then see what your opponent does on their turn. You got a ton of flexibility. 7-4 is going to help. It's going to save you. It's going to protect you for an extra 2 turns. Okay, so if you want to score in 6 turns, go 7-4. If you want to score in 4 turns, go the other route. Okay, the other route is wider, you can have better coverage, but your combat power is less focused. You're taking a bit of a risk here. You want the ball to land there. If they've got kick, they're going to kick it wide and it's going to hurt you. Go for the other one, but 7-4 is going to run out the clock, and if you're running out the clock, you are maximizing your block, and that is good for the Norse team. Anyway guys, I'm going to wrap up now. Thank you very much for watching, and let me know your thoughts on Norse. It is a powerhouse of a team. When it gets rejugged, I expect they're going to lose the thrower, and you know what? Doesn't form a massive part of the plan, so that is okay. But having that big guy and those 2 different type of blitzers just makes this team so good and so fun. Love Norse. Cannot wait to probably end up playing Milton at the Sand Bowl 3 next weekend. That's going to be interesting. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.